Helena stood in front of her bedroom mirror, adjusting her hair as she thought about the trip she was about to take. She and Lucas, her boyfriend of 2 years, had planned this vacation with 3 other couples of friends, something they had been discussing for months. It would be an opportunity to relax and disconnect from the hectic work routine. At 29, Helena worked as a graphic designer and was eager for some time away from the computer screen. Lucas entered the room, carrying 2 suitcases. "Ready for the adventure?" he asked, with a smile that Helena always found irresistible. Lucas was a charismatic man, with a laid-back demeanor that balanced Helena's more methodical personality. They complemented each other, and it was something that everyone around them noticed. "I can't wait," Helena replied, adjusting the necklace she was wearing. "This vacation is going to be exactly what we need." The trip was to a rented country house in a mountainous region. The place promised stunning landscapes and the tranquility they both sought. Helena was excited to spend more time with Lucas and their friends, away from the distractions of the city. On the way, Helena and Lucas talked about the plans for the week. Between hiking, dinners, and game nights, they hoped to create unforgettable memories. "I'm looking forward to seeing how the question and answer game will be," said Helena, referring to a tradition the group had of playing on previous trips. "It always ends in laughter and funny stories." "I hope this year is no different," Lucas replied, winking at her. Upon arriving at the country house, they were greeted by the group with hugs and enthusiasm. The house was everything they imagined, with an incredible view of the mountains and a cozy environment. The rustic decor, with dark wood furniture and a fireplace, created a welcoming atmosphere that immediately made them feel at home. "This view is amazing," commented Helena, as she looked out the living room window. The mountains in the distance were covered by a light mist, and the fresh morning air was invigorating. After settling in, they spent the afternoon exploring the property and planning the activities for the coming days. Some went hiking on the nearby trails, while others decided to simply relax on the porch, enjoying each other's company. At night, as they dined on the porch, the group chatted animatedly about life, work, and expectations for the trip. Helena felt at home among friends, appreciating the sense of belonging and the connection that everyone shared. The conversations ranged from memories of past trips to future plans and personal dreams. As night fell, the cool mountain air brought a sense of renewal. Helena looked at Lucas, who was engaged in a lively conversation with the other men in the group, and felt a wave of gratitude for the life they had together. She knew that despite the daily challenges, moments like that were precious and should be cherished. As everyone retired to rest, Helena reflected on how eager she was for the days to come. Little did she know that this trip would bring revelations that would test everything she believed she knew about Lucas. The next morning, Helena awoke to the gentle sound of birds and sunlight streaming through the windows of the country house. The atmosphere was one of pure tranquility, something she had longed for. After a leisurely breakfast with friends, the group decided to explore the nearby trails, taking advantage of the fresh air and breathtaking landscapes. The hours passed quickly amid laughter and conversation as they walked along the winding trails. Helena felt rejuvenated, as if the weight of everyday life was slowly being replaced by a long-forgotten lightness. Lucas was by her side, always ready to crack a joke or point out some curiosity about the surrounding nature. "Look at that rock formation," Lucas said, pointing to a stone that stood out among the trees. "Doesn't it look like a face?" Helena laughed, agreeing. "Yes, it really does. You always find these things." Upon returning to the house, the group decided that the evening would be perfect for the traditional question-and-answer game. It was a tradition that had started years ago, where each couple had the chance to ask questions to the others, ranging from the most trivial to the most profound. The game always provided moments of fun and, sometimes, surprising revelations. After dinner, they gathered in the living room, the lights softly illuminating the space while the crackling of the fireplace created a cozy setting. Helena sat next to Lucas, holding his hand with an eager smile. She loved these moments of intimacy and connection with friends. "Who wants to start?" asked Carla, one of the friends in the group, holding a bowl with slips of paper containing questions. "I'll start," said Tomas, another friend, picking a slip. "Let's see. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?" The answers ranged from teleportation to mind reading, each provoking laughter and amusing comments. As the night progressed, the questions began to get more personal. "What is your biggest regret?" asked one of the friends, prompting a momentary silence as everyone pondered the depth of the question. When it was Lucas's turn, he hesitated for a moment, something that did not go unnoticed by Helena. "I think my biggest regret is not being completely honest in some situations," he said, looking at the group but avoiding Helena's gaze. The response hung in the air, creating a subtle tension that Helena couldn't ignore. She knew Lucas like an open book, or at least she thought she did. The night continued, but Helena's mind was stuck on that response, trying to decipher what Lucas really meant. When the game finally ended, Helena and Lucas retired to their room. The silence between them was palpable, each immersed in their own thoughts. Helena couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming, something that could change everything she believed she knew about Lucas. The next morning arrived with a gentle mist covering the mountains, creating an almost ethereal scene. Helena awoke feeling a restlessness she couldn't explain. The game from the previous night still resonated in her mind, especially Lucas's vague response about regrets. After breakfast, the group decided to spend the day relaxing at the house, enjoying each other's company. Laughter and conversation flowed naturally, but Helena couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. In the afternoon, while the others were busy preparing lunch, Helena and Lucas found themselves alone on the porch. The silence between them was heavy, and Helena knew she needed to address what she was feeling. "Lucas, about what you said last night. What did you mean by not being completely honest?" she asked, trying to keep her voice calm. Lucas hesitated, looking out at the horizon before finally meeting Helena's eyes. "I knew you would ask about that," he began, his voice low and filled with tension. "There's something I need to tell you, something I should have said a long time ago." Helena felt her heart race, a mix of fear and anticipation taking hold of her. "What is it, Lucas?" He took a deep breath, as if gathering courage. "Before we started dating, I had a relationship with someone you know. It was brief, but I never told you because I didn't think it was important. But now, I feel you deserve to know." Helena remained silent, processing the confession. The revelation took her by surprise, and she struggled to maintain her composure. "Who was it?" she finally asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Lucas hesitated again before responding. "It was Clara." Lucas's response hit like a bombshell, leaving Helena stunned. Clara was one of her closest friends, someone she had always trusted. The idea that Lucas and Clara had been involved before she and Lucas started dating was something she never imagined. Helena stood up, stepping away from Lucas as she tried to process what she had just heard. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" she asked, the pain evident in her voice. "I didn't want it to interfere with what we have," Lucas replied, his expression full of regret. "But now I see it was a mistake not to have been honest from the beginning." Helena felt a wave of emotions: anger, sadness, betrayal. She needed time to think, to understand how this revelation would affect her relationship with Lucas and her friendship with Clara. "I need some time," she finally said, turning to enter the house, leaving Lucas alone on the porch. As she walked away, Helena felt that her life, once so stable, was about to change irreversibly. She knew she needed to face this new reality, but she wasn't sure how or where to start. Helena walked away from the porch, feeling as if she were in a trance. Each step felt heavy as she tried to process Lucas's confession. The house, which until then had been a refuge of tranquility and friendship, now felt suffocating. She retreated to one of the empty bedrooms, closing the door behind her. The silence was absolute, except for the distant sound of friends' voices in the kitchen. Helena sat on the edge of the bed, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to organize her thoughts. Lucas's revelation had hit her like a blow. Clara, one of her closest friends, someone with whom she shared secrets and laughter, had been involved with Lucas. Although this had happened before she and Lucas started dating, the omission of the fact made her question everything. Helena thought about all the time she had been with Clara and Lucas together, unaware of this shared past. The betrayal wasn't in the act itself, but in the lack of transparency. She felt deceived, as if an important part of her life had been built on a lie. As the hours passed, Helena struggled against a torrent of emotions. Anger, sadness, disappointment, all mixed in a whirlwind she couldn't control. She wanted to confront Clara, demand explanations, but she knew she needed to understand her own feelings first. At that moment, the question-and-answer game seemed a cruel irony. What had started as an innocent game had turned into a devastating revelation. Helena realized she needed answers, but more than that, she needed to decide what she truly wanted for the future. As the day progressed, Helena forced herself to leave the room. She knew she couldn't avoid Lucas or Clara forever. She found Lucas in the living room, looking out the window with a worried expression. "Can we talk?" he asked softly when he noticed Helena's presence. She nodded, feeling a bit calmer but still uncertain about how to handle everything. "Yes, we need to talk," she replied, her voice firm but without the anger from before. Helena knew the road ahead would be difficult, but she was determined to find clarity. She needed to understand why Lucas had kept the secret, and more importantly, she needed to decide if she could forgive him and move forward. Helena and Lucas sat in the living room, the atmosphere charged with tension and expectation. Helena knew she needed to stay calm to gain the clarity she sought. Lucas, for his part, seemed anxious but determined to explain his side of the story. "I'm sorry for not telling you before," Lucas began, his voice full of regret. "It was a mistake, and I should have been honest from the start. I was afraid of how you would react." Helena took a deep breath, trying to control the anger that still simmered beneath the surface. "Were you afraid of how I would react? Or were you trying to protect yourself?" she asked, keeping her gaze fixed on him. Lucas hesitated, knowing there was no easy answer. "A bit of both, I guess. I didn't want to ruin what we have, and I thought that if I didn't mention it, it wouldn't matter." "But it does matter," Helena replied, her voice softer now but still firm. "It matters because you weren't honest with me, and trust is the foundation of any relationship." Lucas nodded, acknowledging the truth in her words. "I understand, and I want to do whatever it takes to regain your trust. I don't want to lose you." Helena felt a glimmer of hope amid the pain. She knew Lucas was being sincere, but there was still Clara to face. "What about Clara? Does she know I've found out?" "No, I haven't said anything to her. I thought you'd want to talk to her first," Lucas replied, his expression full of uncertainty. Helena knew she needed to confront Clara, but she wasn't ready for that yet. "I need some time to think. I don't know if I'm ready to talk to her now." Lucas nodded, respecting the space Helena needed. "All right, I'll be here, waiting for you, no matter how long it takes." Helena stood up, feeling exhausted but a little lighter after the conversation. She knew the road ahead would be complicated, but she was determined to face each challenge with honesty and courage. In the days that followed, Helena reflected on everything that had happened. She knew she needed to talk to Clara, but she also knew she needed to be ready to hear what her friend had to say. Finally, she decided it was time to confront Clara. They arranged to meet at a nearby cafe, a neutral place where Helena hoped she could remain calm. When Clara arrived, the tension between them was palpable. Helena took a deep breath, prepared to hear the truth, no matter how painful it was. "Clara, we need to talk about Lucas," Helena began, looking directly into her friend's eyes. "I know about you two." Clara looked visibly surprised but didn't try to deny it. "I figured this would come out at some point," she admitted, her voice full of regret. "I'm sorry, Helena. I never wanted this to hurt you." Helena listened as Clara explained what had happened, her words full of sincerity and remorse. They talked for hours, unearthing feelings and issues that had been buried for too long. By the end of the conversation, Helena felt that, although the pain was still present, there was room for forgiveness. She knew rebuilding trust would take time, but she was willing to try, both with Lucas and with Clara. After the conversation with Clara, Helena felt emotionally exhausted, but also relieved for finally facing the situation. She knew the next step would be deciding the future of her relationship with Lucas. The decision wasn't easy, and Helena spent days reflecting on what she truly wanted. During this time, she allowed herself to seek advice from friends and family, people she trusted who could offer different perspectives. Each conversation brought new reflections, helping her weigh the pros and cons of her options. "Do you still love him?" asked her friend Anna during a walk in the park. Anna had always been a source of wisdom and support for Helena, and her direct question made her pause to think. "Yes, I do," Helena admitted, looking at the horizon. "But I don't know if I can trust him again. And without trust, love isn't enough." Anna nodded, understanding the complexity of the situation. Trust can be rebuilt, but it takes time and effort from both sides. The question is, are you willing to give that time and effort? Helena pondered Anna's question over the following days. She knew Lucas was willing to work to regain her trust, but she needed to decide if she wanted to give him that chance. Meanwhile, Lucas strove to show Helena that he was committed to repairing the damage caused. He became more open and communicative, sharing his thoughts and feelings in a way he never had before. Helena began to realize that despite the pain of betrayal, there was an opportunity for growth and renewal in their relationship. She also realized she needed to forgive not only Lucas, but also herself, for allowing doubt and distrust to consume her. Finally, after much reflection, Helena made her decision. She met Lucas at a cafe they used to go to together, a place that held good memories and where she felt comfortable. "Lucas, I've thought a lot about everything," Helena began, looking into his eyes. "I want to try again. I want to see if we can rebuild what we had, but we need to be honest with each other from now on." Lucas smiled, visibly relieved and grateful. "I promise I'll be honest, Helena. I'll be the best partner I can be." Helena felt a wave of hope hearing Lucas's words. She knew the road ahead would be challenging, but she was ready to face it alongside him. With this decision, Helena took the first step towards rebuilding their relationship, knowing that love and trust would need to be cultivated daily. She also knew that regardless of what the future held, she had learned and grown from this experience, becoming stronger and more self-aware. With the decision to try to rebuild her relationship with Lucas, Helena felt a mix of hope and apprehension. She knew the journey wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to give the love she still felt a chance. The first step was to communicate her decision to the friends who accompanied them on the trip, as everyone was aware of the tension hovering over the group. That night, during dinner, Helena asked for everyone's attention. "I wanted to thank you for being here and for all the support you've given us," she began, looking at each of the friends around the table. "Lucas and I have decided to work on our relationship. We know it won't be easy, but we're committed to trying." The friends applauded the decision, offering words of encouragement and support. Clara, in particular, seemed relieved and promised to be there for the couple, respecting the space and time they would need. In the following days, Helena and Lucas began to rebuild their connection. They spent more time together, openly discussing their feelings and expectations. Lucas made sure to show that he was willing to change, being more transparent and present in every moment. Helena also found herself reflecting on her own actions and how she could contribute to a healthier relationship. She realized that communication was essential and that she needed to express her feelings clearly and honestly, without fear of judgment. Meanwhile, the trip continued, and the group enjoyed each day exploring the region, hiking, and enjoying each other's company. Helena began to feel that despite the difficulties, she was on the right path to finding peace and happiness. However, the journey of rebuilding was not without challenges. There were moments of doubt and insecurity, especially when memories of the past surfaced. But instead of letting these emotions consume her, Helena learned to face them, using them as opportunities to strengthen her bond with Lucas. One of the most significant moments occurred during a sunset walk. Lucas held Helena's hand and said, "I know we still have a long way to go, but I want you to know I'm here for you, always." Helena looked into his eyes, feeling the sincerity in his words. "I'm here too, Lucas. Let's build something new together, something even better than before." With this mutual promise, Helena felt a renewal of hope. She knew that true love required work and dedication, but she was ready to face any challenge alongside Lucas. As the trip came to an end, Helena felt more confident in her decision. She knew the future was uncertain, but she was determined to embrace each moment with courage and love. As the trip came to an end, Helena returned to her routine with a new perspective. The experience had been transformative, not only in her relationship with Lucas, but also in her own journey of self-discovery. She realized she needed to devote more time to herself, exploring interests and passions she had set aside. One of Helena's first decisions was to resume practicing yoga, something that had always helped her find balance and mental clarity. The weekly classes became a sacred space for her, a moment of introspection and renewal. Each session left her more centered and at peace with herself. In addition, Helena decided to explore her creativity by enrolling in a photography course. The art of capturing moments through the lens fascinated her, and she discovered a new way of seeing the world around her. Photography became a form of expression, allowing her to explore her emotions in a new and meaningful way. At work, Helena also began to stand out. With a clearer and more focused mind, she committed to new projects, bringing innovation and enthusiasm to her team. Her colleagues noticed the change, praising her renewed determination and creativity. Lucas, in turn, supported Helena at every step of her journey. He encouraged her to pursue her interests and was always there to listen to her ideas and achievements. The mutual support further strengthened their relationship, creating a solid foundation of trust and respect. Over time, Helena began to realize that the difficulties she had faced had transformed into opportunities for growth. She felt stronger and more aware of who she was and what she wanted for her future. The lessons learned during the trip and the process of rebuilding her relationship with Lucas taught her the importance of honesty, forgiveness, and resilience. One night, while reviewing photos she had taken during the trip, Helena reflected on how much she had changed. The images captured moments of joy, introspection, and love, reminding her that life was made of ups and downs, and that each experience contributed to her personal growth. Helena knew that the road ahead would still have challenges, but she was ready to face them with confidence and determination. She had discovered a new sense of purpose, and was eager to explore the possibilities the future held. With an open heart and a clear mind, Helena was ready to write the next chapter of her life, knowing that regardless of what happened, she had the strength and courage to overcome any obstacle. As the months passed, Helena continued to cultivate the balance she had found. The decision to invest in herself and in her relationship with Lucas was bearing fruit. She felt more complete and fulfilled, both personally and professionally. At work, Helena took the lead on an innovative project that quickly gained recognition. Her creative and collaborative approach inspired her team, and together, they achieved impressive results. The success at work reinforced her confidence and motivated her to pursue even more challenges. In her personal life, Helena and Lucas rediscovered the joy of being together. They began planning small weekend getaways, exploring new landscapes and creating unforgettable memories. These escapades served as constant reminders of how much they had grown together and the love that united them. In addition, Helena began to get involved in community activities, something she had always wanted to do but never found the time for. She volunteered for a photography project with at-risk youth, teaching them to capture their stories through the lens. This experience not only enriched her, but also connected her to a network of like-minded people, expanding her social circle. Her relationship with Clara also strengthened. After many sincere conversations and moments of reflection, the two friends managed to overcome the hurts of the past. Clara became an important ally in Helena's life, offering unconditional support and true friendship. Helena realized that by facing her fears and insecurities, she had made room for growth and transformation. She learned to value the importance of communication and honesty in all her relationships, understanding that trust is built day by day. On a quiet night, while walking through the park near her home, Helena reflected on her journey. The path to that point hadn't been easy, but she was grateful for every lesson learned. She felt stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace whatever the future held. Helena knew that life was full of uncertainties, but she was also aware that she had the necessary tools to face any challenge. With a smile on her face, she looked up at the starry sky, feeling at peace with herself and the world around her. She was ready to move forward, to continue growing and exploring all the possibilities life had to offer. With an open heart and a clear mind, Helena was prepared for whatever came, knowing that with love, resilience, and courage, she could overcome any obstacle. Over time, Helena began to realize that despite all her achievements, there were still challenges to face. Life had a way of presenting new difficulties when least expected, and she was determined to face them with the same courage and determination she had shown so far. One morning, Helena received an unexpected call from a former co-worker, offering her a job opportunity in a distant city. It was a chance for professional growth, but it also meant leaving behind everything she had built up to that point. "It's a great opportunity, Helena," said the colleague on the phone. "You've always wanted to expand your horizons, and this could be your chance." Helena spent days pondering the offer. She had long conversations with Lucas, who supported her unconditionally, but also expressed his concerns about the distance and the impact it could have on their relationship. "I know it's important to you," Lucas said, holding Helena's hand. "And I want you to follow your dreams. But we need to think about how this will work for both of us." Helena knew the decision wasn't easy. She loved her current job and the life she had built with Lucas, but the prospect of a new challenge was tempting. She also knew that regardless of what she decided, she would have to deal with the consequences of her choice. After much reflection, Helena decided to accept the job offer. She and Lucas spent weeks planning the transition, discussing how they would maintain the relationship long distance, and ensuring that both were comfortable with the decision. "It will be difficult, but I believe we can make it work," Helena said to Lucas the night before leaving. "We've been through so much together, and this is just another challenge." Lucas agreed, hugging her tightly. "I believe in us too, Helena. We'll face this together." With the move, Helena found herself in a completely new environment, surrounded by new people and challenges. She dove headfirst into her new job, determined to do her best and prove to herself that she had made the right choice. In the first few months, the distance between her and Lucas was tough, but they made an effort to stay connected, talking daily and planning regular visits. The experience taught them to value even more the time they spent together and the importance of communication in their relationship. Helena realized that despite the difficulties, she was growing and developing in ways she had never imagined. She was building a new life for herself, without letting go of the love and connection she shared with Lucas. As the months passed, Helena and Lucas found a new way to connect, even while apart. They learned to value the small moments, the daily conversations, and the visits they made to each other. The distance, though challenging, strengthened their bond, teaching them the importance of trusting and supporting each other. During one of his visits, Lucas surprised Helena with a romantic dinner in her new apartment. He had spent hours preparing everything, from the food to the decoration, creating a cozy and intimate environment. "I wanted to do something special for you," Lucas said as he served dinner, "to show you how much you mean to me, even when we're apart." Helena was touched by the gesture, feeling grateful to have someone so dedicated and loving by her side. "You don't know how much this means to me, Lucas," she replied, holding his hand. "I know it's not easy, but I'm so happy we've found a way to make this work." During dinner, they talked about their hopes and dreams for the future, sharing their aspirations and discussing how they could continue to grow together, even at a distance. The evening was a reminder that despite the challenges, the love they shared was strong and resilient. Over time, Helena began to feel more comfortable in her new life. She made new friends, explored the city, and found a balance between her demanding job and her personal life. She also realized that she was becoming more independent and confident, learning to trust herself and her abilities. Lucas, in turn, continued to support her in every way possible, encouraging her to follow her dreams and never give up on her ambitions. He also found ways to grow personally, exploring new interests and developing his own skills. The experience of being apart taught Helena and Lucas the importance of communicating openly and honestly, being patient, and always supporting each other, regardless of the circumstances. They learned that true love is not defined by physical proximity, but by emotional connection and mutual commitment. Over time, Helena and Lucas faced a series of challenges that tested their relationship and determination. There were moments of doubt, longing, and uncertainty, but they refused to let these difficulties separate them. One night, after a discussion about the future, Helena felt overwhelmed by emotions. She wondered if it was really worth fighting to maintain the long-distance relationship, if they were just postponing the inevitable. "I miss you every day," Helena confessed during a video call, tears streaming down her face. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing the right thing." Lucas, on the other side of the screen, looked equally shaken. "I miss you too, Helena. But I believe we're doing this for a reason. We're building something worthwhile, something that can last." The conversation was a turning point for both. They realized that although the distance was difficult, the love they shared was strong enough to overcome any obstacle. They decided to commit even more, promising to be honest about their feelings and work together to find solutions to the challenges they faced. Over time, Helena and Lucas learned to see challenges as opportunities for growth. They became more resilient, more determined, and more connected than ever. They realized that regardless of what the future held, they were ready to face it together. After months of challenges and growth, Helena and Lucas decided it was time to take the next step in their relationship. They realized that despite the difficulties, they were more in love and committed than ever and wanted to build a future together. On a surprise visit, Lucas took Helena to a park where they used to walk when they were together in the same city. He guided her to a quiet spot, surrounded by trees and flowers, where he had prepared a special picnic. "Helena, these past months have been challenging, but they've also shown me how much I love you and want to spend the rest of my life with you," Lucas said, kneeling and holding a small box. Helena was surprised and moved, her hands trembling slightly as Lucas opened the box to reveal an engagement ring. "Will you marry me?" Lucas asked, looking into her eyes with love and hope. With tears of joy, Helena replied, "Yes, 1,000 times yes." The moment was magical, a symbol of everything they had overcome together and all the possibilities the future held. They embraced, feeling more connected than ever, ready to face any challenge life threw their way. With the engagement, Helena and Lucas began planning their wedding and the life they wanted to build together. They knew the path wouldn't always be easy, but they were determined to face each obstacle with love, patience, and understanding. Helena realized that her journey of self-discovery and growth had prepared her for this moment. She was stronger, more confident, and more in love than ever, ready to embark on a new adventure alongside Lucas. With a heart full of love and hope, Helena was ready to write the next chapter of her life, knowing that with Lucas by her side, she could face any challenge and enjoy every moment to the fullest. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel.